because you mentioned E, aka Eric Thomas, aka ET the hip hop preacher, person who's been on the podcast about twice now. Um, let's talk about how did you go from selling phone cases to a whole partnership, building extreme execution. You literally the right hand of this whole flight assessment that we know of and the new language that we have to not only for self-awareness but as well as team communication and that whole nine. Like how did we get there?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, I was a fan. I started off as a super fan. I was reading Think and Grow Rich at the time that I came across E's book. And for anyone who's read the book recently, you know that there's a story in the beginning of the book, maybe in the first two chapters, where someone who had no money, lived far away, wanted to work desperately with Thomas Edison. And he ended up just showing up, and story goes on to say that they went on to do like hundreds of inventions together because this guy was willing to do what the people who were around Thomas Edison already weren't willing to do. And so he got more opportunities just as a result of his desire and willingness. So I remember reading that and listening to E's videos every Monday. At the time, it was just TGIM. And I was like, you know what? Rather than me try, I had to make the connection somehow. So I said, rather than me try to impress this guy with what I imagine everyone else is saying. So I'm sure everyone's reaching out like, E, I love the videos, man. I work mad hard. I want an opportunity or, stuff like that. And so I said, let me do something different. I'm still playing baseball. I'm a freshman in college at this time. I said, I'm going to reach out and tell him about what I got going on and prove to him that I am all the things that people say they are. Hard worker, dedicated, disciplined, loyal, yada, 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 just through the consistency of my efforts. Mm-hmm. And so I found them on Facebook. I sent the message. And my expectation was I'm going to have to send a message every day. That's what I was prepared to do. I'm going to have to send a message every day so that I can get his attention and start introducing myself. I send a message the first day. He responds immediately and says something along the lines of, I like what you got going on. Let's keep in touch. There's like, here you go, prepared to do something every single day. And then from the very first or second try, you get a positive response, and it just reinforces the mentality of what I was trying to do. So that's how the relationship started. But I ended up meeting him for the first time officially, him and CJ, at an event in New York. And then the following week, I followed him into a church in New Jersey. And in a strange but weird way, it made me more of a Muslim because of his passion in just transparency and the way he spoke about God in a Christian setting. It was the weirdest thing ever, but I heard someone talking about God for the first time that I related to and understood. And so I just connected what he said about God to the person who I knew was God. And for me, that was, my faith. And so then that ignited that. And then literally later that summer, I got my scholarship to play baseball up in Michigan. And we connected, while in Michigan. I brought him to speak at my school and just kept in touch. And then fast forward, that was 2012, fast forward to 2017, right after Game Changers and some of the stuff that was going on there. That kind of opened up the doorway for, extreme execution and what would happen there. Of course, I got to give credit to Chris Daniels, may he rest in peace. He was the one who introduced us to the assessment originally. But after his passing, it was Preach and I who stepped up to the realm to really kind of take control of everything that was happening as it relates to the assessment. And we ran with it. And he just was like, oh, you guys are getting certified? I'm going to get certified. And then we just started bouncing off of each other and fixing some of the things that he had going on in his business. And it was an organic connection around, let's do something together with this here. Let's build a certification program. Let's keep the trainings alive. Let's do this. And then that relationship just has grown into what it is now where, I think going on 5 or 6 years, just from a business standpoint, to put the amount of money that we put into that tool and him to really trust me, because I got to admit, he put up the money, I did all the work, but for somebody to trust you with that amount of money and, that much writing on it is definitely something huge. So that's That's the brief story, abbreviated story of E and the business there.